Vinod, it is times like this we turn to you and your experience, your expertise. More layoffs to come, more reticence to invest even from a VC perspective, do you think?
I don't think there's reticence to invest from a VC perspective, but there will be more layoffs to come. I think the era of exuberance caused companies to take on a lot of fat, good margins, good cash flows, allow people to be sloppy about expense control and what really matters. Everything is okay to do because one can afford it. I think now's a very good time to do that reckoning and fix things, cut off the extra fat, get back to the basics. I do think we'll see the best investing in the next decade in technology.
Mr. Khosla, you have been in this industry for 36 years, and respectfully, you've seen a few recessions, and we keep hearing that we're destined for recession, but some of the best companies are born out of recession. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that. You know, when Google and Amazon and Facebook are cutting off their most advanced projects and their best, most radical projects, those are the very people who do great startups. They will be leaving and starting new companies, and those will show up on your radar screen 5 years from now, but our radar screen very soon.
Vinod, talk to us a little bit about the area of crypto, the ripple effects that that's had, and indeed what we're learning in terms of the legacy of a founder. When you've invested money within people, of course, you keep on believing in that individual. How do you know when it's the right time to pull the plug?
Well, that's for every venture capitalist to decide for themselves. And venture capitalists are big boys, so we don't need to worry about venture capitalists. There's a lot of other people, consumers, that get hurt in this that we need to worry about. I'm actually optimistic with the SPX fiasco that the regulators will step up and be much more aggressive. I was a little bit optimistic when they imposed a fine on Kim Kardashian. I think way more enforcement, way more clarity on what the regulations are, less fighting between the various agencies doing regulation. I think this is a real opportunity to enable crypto for the real world of business, not the crypto world alone. I separate crypto as crypto for crypto world and crypto for the real world, building real businesses that impact what we know as businesses today. And I think if the regulators step up, as I hope they will, this will really enable that. I mean, much of this, the blame can be laid on the SEC and others who haven't stepped up and provided clarity on what is possible, what's a token, what's a security, what can you do and what can't you do. I think it's a real opportunity, and I hope the crumbling of FTX provides pressure to do this on the regulators.
Vinod, cryptocurrency meltdown has kind of dominated headlines. So has President Biden's meeting with Xi Jinping. You told us in June that the US and China were headed for a techno-economic war. Were you right?
Well, I've always believed that, and I think this is a 20, 30-year perspective, not a one-year perspective. I totally believe that, and it will continue to be the case. But we can compete in a more civilized manner with a clearer set of rules of what is acceptable behavior in this. For example, cyber espionage is not acceptable. I think it'll help to talk, and it will, but we will still be in this battle. And frankly, the world will be better off if two people are competing with the good set of well-defined rules for technology. But if the Western world wins the technology battle, they'll win the political and economic battle too.
Vinod, another area you're focused on is climate tech. Our latest data from Bloomberg New Energy Finance showed the third straight quarter drop in VC and private equity investment into climate tech. You wrote in that op-ed in The Economist that we are too focused on 2030 climate goals, and we need to be more focused on the longer term, 2050 climate goals. How does that drive your investment decisions, the startups that you are or are not putting money into in that sector?
So our job is to invest early. when people are requiring $5 or $10 million to do something. The bulk of the deployment comes in mature technologies, and that's not our business. But what we invest in should be a prototype, a proven technology by 2030 and deployed by 2040, and hopefully fully deployed by 2050. That's sort of the perspective we keep in mind. Nothing we invest in gets to liquidity in less than 5 to 10 years. And so with that in mind, the current perturbations up and down don't matter as much, except to keep these companies funded, which is what we worry about by being more or less conservative depending upon what the markets are doing.
But of course, you've written about the thing that you need to be if you're a VC is optimistic. So let's finish on an optimistic note. Where are you thinking of allocating money? Which are the areas that you think will be the diamonds in the rough at this particular market where we are worried about an economic dial back? We are worried about the amount of money being put to work.
Well, the largest investment we've ever made was in OpenAI. So AI is definitely more transformative than most people imagine. We did that 5 years ago, and I'd say that world has accelerated dramatically over the last 5 years. So I'm very happy with that. I think it'll be a very, very rich area. It'll be more disruptive to incumbents than most people realize. And that is something we do need to both take advantage of as the disruptors, and mostly on the disrupting side, but also in how to partner with the right incumbents to cause large change to happen. Climate will continue to be a big area. And I think the application of AI to healthcare will be very, very important. I've talked a lot about that. I'm much more confident that that will be disrupted in a way people can't imagine today in the next decade or so. So lots of areas and lots of technology enablers, whether it's AI, 3D printing, computational techniques in general, all leading to very, very promising areas for tech-based investing.